Hello and welcome back to my 100 day in a flat world. We're starting off with day 25, obviously. If you haven't seen my last episode of the first 25 days, make sure to go check that one out. And yeah, let's get started with today's video. Day 25 started off with just a lot of farming and a lot of trading with my farmers because I was really just hoping for a lot of emeralds, and I was trying to kill some time while hoping that I would find a wandering trader. So I was farming, I was breeding cows, and getting wool from my sheep. And then while I was just kind of wandering about, I actually noticed that I had some llamas just hanging out by my portal. So obviously I put two and two together and realized that I had a wandering trader in the nether. So went and checked to see what he had. Has some mangrove and some birch. I was obviously very excited about that. So my next goal was make sure I have 10 emeralds so that I could get the one birch sapling and one mangrove sapling. So this sparked truly the long journey of farming and trading that is this episode. On day 26, I continued my farming journey as well as trading to try and get those 10 emeralds. And then I finally had enough emeralds that I could go get my my first little sapling from this guy. So I did, and then promptly died. So I went back. I needed my stuff. First scouted the area, made sure it was safe, and then ran in and grabbed all of my stuff. Grabbed it all, and then I skedaddled on out of there because I was not risking my life anymore. So I left, and then I just kind of planted my sapling and went back to farming on day 27. So day 27 was just pretty much just farming, trading, the usual. Did that for a while until my mangrove sapling grew, and then I started tearing all of that down because I wanted to get some more wood so that we could use it for making my little house, my little base, look just ever so slightly nicer than what it currently does. But of course I had to go back to farming. Day 27 is a day of hard farming. So I did that, and then on day 28, I had enough emeralds that I could go get my birch sapling. So I went and got my birch sapling and then started growing that up using some bone meal, and was hoping and praying that I would get enough birch saplings to make more. And then I went back and decided it was time that I should start reworking on my base a little bit, making it look just a bit nicer. So I started off with that. I am actually pretty happy with the way that it's looking. Now that I've made some adjustments, it's not nearly as ugly. And then, of course, went back to getting some more birch. I have a terrible habit, or not a terrible habit, terrible luck of always getting either one or no birch saplings from all of my trees. So I got super lucky pretty much all this entire time that I was actually getting more than one. I was getting closer to like 3 per tree. It's pretty nice. Obviously went and took down some more mangrove trees. Tore those down because I needed some more. I was out of mangrove for my base and I needed some more. So I went and got some more, and then I went back to go working on my base. So it was just a lot of just tearing down and then rebuilding, which I also accidentally exploded my base. So I went and fixed that, or at least partially fixed it. Ran out of mangrove again. Went and got more mangrove, and then went and fixed it, of course. This is all on day 29, obviously. And then I needed some more cobble, because I was out of cobble and I needed some more to fix the last little bit of my base. So I just hung out for a little while at my little cobble generator. Though it is terribly slow, it does get the job done. Just hung out there for a little bit. And then I went back to go fix off my base. And it was also time that I added some more details. So I got started on what would become my little fireplace, little chimney. It's more of a chimney than a fireplace, because you can't even tell there's anything on the inside. But for the chimney, I pretty much just started with cobble and then would later go on with some stone. Just add a little bit more detail, a little bit more texture, make it look just ever so slightly nicer. And then on day 30, I went back to farming. At this point, I feel like it's my destiny to be a farmer. It seems like that's all I'm doing. But I just went back to doing that, doing some trading, and just kind of hanging out and chilling. And then I found another wandering trader, so I quickly put him in a boat so that he wouldn't despawn on me or run away. Though he did end up despawning in that boat. Thankfully, I already had everything I needed from him. He had dark oak saplings, and I managed to get 4. He despawned almost immediately after I got my 4th one. I didn't know they could despawn in boats, but he did. Anyways, and then I went back to farming and trading on day 31. Just a lot of farming and trading all day, every day. And after I got some farming and trading done, I decided it was time that I get some more birch. And so I tore all that down, planted some more. You know the drill. After farming on day 32, I decided that it was time that I start getting some endermen, some ender pearls, so that I could, well, go to the end. I decided it was finally time that we kill the dragon, so I decided I should probably start collecting some ender pearls. And then I decided, you know what, my house needs a little bit more detail, so I decided I was going to add a little bit of farmland just around it, just to add a bit more color that isn't red to it. Felt like it really needed something like that, so I got started on that. And then I also decided it should have like a little overhang, so I quickly made a little overhang. And then obviously, as a little bit more detail, my base needed a little path outwards, because I think path blocks are super cute. Can't explain it. And then obviously my chimney needed smoke, so I decided I would start a fire. I'd just put a fire there, because it did not occur to me. It just did not occur to me that I could build a campfire and use the campfire for smoke. But don't worry, later on I do end up remembering that campfires exist and using one of those. Day 33, I mainly just farmed, traded, you know, the usual. And along with farming and trading, I used all my extra seeds to add some wheat around my base, because I wanted it to be more of that yellow color instead of the orange and green from like carrots and potatoes. So I used all of that. And then on day 34, when I woke up, I had blown up my chimney, so I had to refix that. And then after it was fixed, I went over to my cows, started breeding them, and then went back to farming. After farming, I realized that I was actually a bit low on iron, so I decided to then kill some iron golems, get some more iron, and get some more tools. At the end of day 34, it was time for me to go get some blaze rods. So I headed over, killed a few blazes, and then I ended up actually dying to said blazes. When I went back, I was promptly followed by 4 baby zombies. I tried to kill them, but of course I had no weapons, so they killed me. When I went back, it was nighttime, and there were baby zombies outside of my house, so I couldn't leave, and then I also couldn't sleep because of how many mobs there were. And then I went back again, where I was once again killed. At this point, I was fed up with it and decided, you know what? I don't need any of that stuff anyways. I just quickly made everything else that I needed and then went back to my usual work because I just could not deal with going back there again. I gave up. So, what do people who give up do? They farm. So the rest of day 35 was pretty chill. After dying 7 million times, I pretty much just spent most of it farming. Day 36 was pretty much just gathering some more trees alongside some farming and pretty much all of the usual stuff. Nothing too crazy was going on this day, except for the fact that I decided I was going to move my cows into a new area I had just built. Of course, attached to my house because I thought it looked cute. So I put them all in their new little cage so that they could enjoy their new life. And then, of course, I killed all of the stragglers. And then day 37, I added a little bit more details to where I was now keeping the cows, just so it looked a little bit nicer. And then, about halfway through day 37, I decided I wanted to go on an adventure. So I started my journey with nowhere in particular in mind. I just wanted to see what I could find while I was out there. So I picked a different direction than what I went in last time and just started wandering. I picked up some stuff from some chests, visited some new locations, and had a journey of a lifetime. I would spend the next 3 days or 2.5 just wandering around and taking whatever I could find. On day 40, I finally went back home, locked my horse up, and then got started back on the grind. The grind being farming. This time, it was just me really adding more details to around my base, making it look a little bit more farmy. On day 40, at the end, I also decided it was finally time that I go back to the fortress. So I spent some time in the fortress, this time not getting killed, just gathering some blaze rods. When I got back on day 41, it was back to that farm life. I had crops to grow and people to feed. After I did a bit of farming, it was back to gathering some more wood. On day 41 is also when I realized that I could, in fact, make a campfire. And so I replaced the little fire and put in a campfire, which made it look oh so much nicer. So of course I had to quickly admire my work. On day 42, I grabbed some more cobble and then went back to farming. But of course, you can't forget trading as well, because I needed more emeralds. At this point, I decided that I could also probably try and get some ender pearls from clerics, so I was trying to level up my clerics that I had, but while I was also leveling up my clerics, I decided that at night I could actually just go out and hunt for endermen. So for the rest of the next few days, I would spend a little bit at night just wandering around and looking for endermen. On day 43, I started off by farming. At one point, I got bored of farming though and decided I needed something new to do, so I got started on making a little fishing pond, where I then went fishing. At the night of day 43, I once again continued my little wander around to see if I could find any more endermen. On day 44, I went back to fishing. I had found a new hobby, and I wanted to enjoy it. Also on day 44, I found a cat and was determined to befriend it. It took nearly 2 minutes for me to befriend this cat. And then, after I had made a new friend, I went back to fishing. At the night, I went to my usual wander around to see if I could find any more endermen. And then on day 45, I went back to farming. But of course, I couldn't be away from fishing for too long, so I went back to fishing. At the night of day 45, I found a new cat and was once again determined to befriend it. It took me roughly about 3 minutes for me to befriend this cat. On day 46, I went back to farming, and then I once again found another cat in which I wanted to befriend. This one took roughly about 2 minutes for me to tame. And then once I'd finished taming my cat, I went back to wandering around to see if I could find any more endermen. I then got killed by one of them. On day 47, I decided that I was going to do some more farming. I didn't have too many days left, so I wanted to try and get my clerics leveled up as fast as possible. I then went back to fishing. I then found 2 more cats. The first one I tamed pretty quickly, but the next one I followed around for about 1.5 minutes before I was able to tame it. After I'd tamed that cat, I then went around and looked for some more endermen. On day 48, I decided I should do a little bit more work on my base and added some more details and finishing touches to the little cow farm. After I added some more details, I of course had to admire my handiwork a little bit. At the end of day 48, I decided it was time for me to start a new project with only 1 day left in this episode. This new project would become my storage house because I was starting to run out of space inside of my actual house, and I needed more space to organize my chests, so I decided I would just make a whole new little area for all of them to go into. Day 49, I added a few smaller details onto the outside of my storage house, which obviously included a chimney. And then with not much longer in the day, I worked on moving all of my stuff into the storage house and then organizing all of it. The organizing was a very tedious thing to do, but thankfully it didn't actually take that long, so it wasn't that bad. And then finally on day 50, I admired some of my new work killed an intruder, and then decided that that is where we were going to call it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again in the next one.